Hello and welcome to our tier list for the youngsters, plus one extra player. But we'll get on to that at the very end because he's a forward, he is a striker. So we've got four categories to put all the youngsters in. The top category, the creme de la creme of our under 23s is Squaddy. This is a first team player next season. He should get a handful of appearances, maybe the cup games, maybe on the bench when there's a space through suspension or injury. We don't know, but that should be his aspiration. Next down, we have Gonzo.
We have young VIP. VIP stands for very important player. Not in the first team, you understand, but we're talking a superstar of the under 23s, Gio.
And then the one down for that, we've got anyone want to borrow him. Now, that sounds a bit harsh, but it's time to get this person out on loan. Let's get him some match day experience. The Nathan Holland of this season, if you like. That's what we're looking at for this category. Then in the bottom one, the bottom category, Gonzo.
It's not working out. Let's just be friends. It's not you, it's me.
And what does that mean?
Well, it means you're getting the elbow. You're getting dumped, aren't you, basically?
But disclaimer, it doesn't mean they're crap, okay? It just means we don't see them progressing at West Ham, whether it's their age, their ability, their injury record at such a young age. We'll get onto that as we go through the players.
We just don't suit each other anymore.
No,
we can grow more as people apart from each other.
Yeah, we need to experience new things.
Absolutely.
Independence. We're missing the independence. The sparkle has gone. We've all been there. Some of these players are going to fall into that category. So, who would you like to start off with? Or do you want to start with your order, as always, at the back, the goalkeeper?
We can start with the goalkeepers, by all means, my friend.
Yeah, we've got two. Well, we've got Anang, first of all.
Anang is, for me, will be... Well, he's definitely staying. It's just whether he is a young VIP or a loan. I'd like to see a little bit more on loan. Funny thing about goalkeepers is goalkeepers are often are scouted. You often look at the parents when you're scouting a goalkeeper. You know, if you're my size, you know, if the dad's my size and the mum's a hobbit as well, you're probably not going to grow to be a Premier League standard goalkeeper, no matter how cat-like your reflexes might be, Gio. So they always tend to know that they're going to be big kids. You know, they're going to be tall. They're going to be tall young men. And Nang is possibly already, and was when we played Wimbledon, because I saw him when we played Wimbledon warming up. He already looked like our biggest goalkeeper then. He is already a man. He needs more experience, and he clearly has some talent. I'd like to see him out on loan a little bit more.
I think I'd keep him. I'm going to put him in VIP. Another year in the under 23s just to see what you got, get ready, because you are getting minutes there. He's come to West Ham and he's had a little bit of time where he was second choice on the under 23s, perhaps. So now he's got the number one shirt on the under 23s. Let's just keep him there. I wouldn't be against him going out on loan. I think we've got another couple of good young keepers as well, but behind Anand coming through. So that's probably our strongest position in terms of depth at under 23s area, I would say. So yeah, VIP for me. But from one young keeper to the other, Nathan Trott went out to Wimbledon on loan, got plenty of minutes, and found himself benched towards the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's packed with talent, this kid. He really is. Shot stopper, he is excellent. I've seen him play as well in a few friendlies. Saw him at Wickham, saw him somewhere. It might have been Wickham. I might have seen him at Wickham twice, quite possibly. He is really good at distributing the football as well. He's very comfortable with a ball at his feet. He reminded me, I've said it before on our videos, reminded me a little bit of a young David De Gea, actually, in terms of his shot stopping. Excellent player. I don't see, for whatever reason, I don't know why he's been dropped to Wimbledon, but he is certainly somebody. If we've got three keepers in the squad, I'd like to think he can be one of them, certainly, Gio.
So would you put him in squaddy?
Yeah, I would, because we've got to start grooming somebody for Fabianski eventually being Offski.
I'd put him back out on loan. I'm putting him in the loan category for this because he failed to hang on to his shirt or the gloves at Wimbledon for this season. And I think there has to be a reason for that. I've not watched Wimbledon at all, apart from when they played us. But the point is, he got dropped for a League One side. That is fact. And so we'd get him out another year. We've got a year until David Martin and Roberto's contracts come to an end. You imagine we've seen the last of Roberto, but David Martin will still be there for another season. We've also got Randolph and Fabianski, so I think we're fine for keepers in the first team squad. He'd be fourth choice goalkeeper. I know you're going to say, well, I'd have him ahead of David Martin. I understand that, but I still think he'd be seen as a fourth choice one. I think he's too good for that. Let's get him out on loan. I'd like to see him target a top League One side though, or maybe a bottom Championship side that he can realistically get into. This is where our scouts have almost got to play something clever here. We've got to pick the right club. Wimbledon looked like it was the right club because he got into the team immediately, but then he got benched for whatever reason. So was it still the right club? I'm unsure, but we've got to get out of all these players. There's maybe two or three players, I would say their low move is vital to get it right. I think Anna, you can afford to lose a year by mistake. You can get the move wrong for him and get away with it. But Trott, you can't. This is a vital year for him. So a loan move for me. Ngakia, this is the easiest one to do now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just obviously a squad player. Cemented his place as a
Yeah,
squad player, particularly Gio, as he doesn't actually take up a squad space. He's
yeah.
not part of the 25, so that's a no-brainer. He's already got his peg in the locker room, so to speak. And is he an established first-team player? No, but you'd like to think next season he'll be playing quite a few games starting. So yeah, bring it on. Good. I'm really pleased for the lad.
Yeah, squaddy for me as well. Absolutely no brainer. If there's any player out West Ham that's really going to lose out on what's going on in the world at the minute, it's probably Ngakia because he had just really started to get that shirt. But Fredericks will be back now. If the season will start tomorrow, Fredericks would probably start right back, perhaps. A bit unfair on Ngakia, but he's got to keep going. He overtook Zabaleta. Zabaleta's now going. He's now second choice right back on merit. Probably saved the club 25 million in the summer transfer window this year. So squaddy for me, and I'm really excited to see him next season actually. But for the guy that's moving into squaddy, to the guy that we thought might be, but is perhaps going to miss out because of Ngakia, is Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm gonna. He's going to squaddy as well. I think he's super talented. As what have I just said? That super. That's what Charlie says. Super. This super. I've just tuned into Charlie's vernacular there. He is an extremely talented player. I think where he really comes into his own, he can also play left back as well. I've got to, at this point, I'm not going to try and bluff my way through this. I've got to give a massive thanks to our friend Garnett, who has pretty much watched all of the West Ham teams at all age groups and has an encyclopedic knowledge of a lot of these players. And before we did this video, I said to him, mate, can you give me a heads up on some of these, please? So he's given me a lot of information. And when he was speaking about Johnson, he actually said Cresswell would better be at his best if he's gonna keep him at bay for too long. Quick, strong. I mentioned Anang earlier is already a grown man. Ben Johnson's a grown man. He's not a young lad you're looking to fill out. He's big, as a strong, tactically good, gets forward, can defend. 2-footed, big future for the lad.
I was trying to trick you earlier. I would put him in squaddy as well. I think he sort of starts off as third choice right back and third choice left back, but that's not meant to be an insult to the guy. I think he's there with us expectation of him really pressuring Ngakia, Fredericks, Masuaku, and that in order to stay. The one thing I like, I haven't seen him loads. The limited time I have seen him, I'm impressed by him going forward more than I am from Ngakia, if that makes sense. If you said to me one of them are a way to run past 18-yard and cross it, who do you want it to be? I would pick Ben Johnson. Who do I trust more? At the minute, it's Ngakia because I've seen him in the first team and do it. But I do think Ben Johnson's attacking it looks like it's got a bit more potential in it. So it's a squaddy for me as well. Cardoso, now this is an interesting one because we signed him. We got told through the unofficial official sources, this guy is going to be third choice centre back. He's coming in to challenge Diop and Ogbonna and all that. But we've not seen him. He's been stuck in the under 23s, and there's sort of been mixed reviews, if you like, on the grapevine. So where are you sticking this guy?
I'm close to giving him the elbow, to be fair. But we have paid some money for him, so I'd like to see him on loan to see what he can do. Again, like yourself, not particularly rave reviews about him at all. But you know what? You only need a couple of these. One of these punts to come off, to be fair. And I've chosen my word carefully there. But, not everyone is a Martinez, where we expect high things. We do have a tendency. You've got to remember, years ago, a lot of us wouldn't have heard of these players, but because of us and social media and, YouTube channels and everything, you get to hear about this because the club's got a website now and because it's not teletext and CFAX, you know about this. So everybody, it's like when Silva came in, who we'll talk about in a minute. Everyone expects Silva to be the next best thing. Martinez came in. Do you remember a couple of seasons ago, we were down to strikers. People were saying, why Martinez in? Get Martinez in. And possibly I was one of them as well. it appears he's not good enough. And and you'd Samuelson, you'd possibly say the same thing. I'm not sure of this guy. Get him out on loan if anybody will take him on loan. But I'd be very surprised if in 3 or 4 years this guy is playing at centre half for West Ham United in the first team.
Yeah, he had big credentials over in Portugal for his age, and he was playing first team football as well, which is important. You've got to remember that he wasn't playing like lower league football or anything. He's playing at a good level over in Portugal when we went and scooped him up, and it was considered a bit of a coup for West Ham when we got him. A few people were thinking, well, we expected Man City or Man U to come in and get him for their under 23. So the fact that West Ham's got him has raised a few eyebrows. I'm going to give him the 1 year rule, which I give every foreign player that we sign, which is the first season a scrap, and then your settling in period, if you like, is your probation. Let's see what you got the second year. I would give him a VIP rule. I'm going to put him in under 23s because I think we've got to have centre backs. My worrying position. If we had 2 centre backs injured, what we're going to do? If Diop and Balbuena was injured, what are we doing? We're probably then going to have to pull Rice back in there. And I want to see someone in around 23s that's capable of stepping, like Ngakia has done, like Johnson's done. We need an under 23-year-old centre back that's able to say, I'm ready for 2 games a season if need be. And that's why I would keep it on under 23s. I'd expect him to be captain material by now as well, because he's one of the elder under 23 players. He's got a bit of experience about him, and if he has got a bit of a mouth on him, I'd like to see him given a bit of responsibility at that age group. But the other centre-back that's people have got big hopes for is Alese, out on loan this season to Dagenham and Redbridge. It was a short-term loan. They then extended it till the end of the season. I don't know what Garnett's told you, but I expect that Garnett's told you good things about this guy.
I'll tell you exactly what he told me. He said that he didn't consider him to be a particularly dominant centre half. That being said, he's never had a bad game. He's never seen him have a bad game. Apparently, he keeps it very simple and he's very effective. That's exactly what he said about him. I've never seen him play. I will trust that as a judgment. And with that, I would say we keep him in a young VIP. We keep him in the under 23s. If he's had some experience out on loan, come back to the under 23s now. Perhaps the opposite of what I said about Cardoso.
Yeah, I'm going to put him on loan again. I think he's got time on his side. He just turned 18 years old as well. He's had quite a few of the bigger clubs looking at him. He's played for England at that age groups as well. So looks like he's potentially got a big future, this guy. But because I think we can afford to have him out on loan for the next 2 seasons, actually. I'd be looking at a 2-year plan for this guy. So next year, League One, the year after, we're going to try and get into a championship club. Someone down in the bottom where you are going to be tested quite a lot during the game. You are going to have to defend a lot. There's no point playing for a dominant championship side as a centre-back. You want to get them in a poor championship side almost. So you're going to have to be on your toes for 90 minutes. So I would put him out on loan. Now, this is where it starts to get interesting. The players you've maybe heard of, the more adventurous players. Centre midfield, Josh Cullen. I mean, it's really now or never for Josh Cullen, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I'd actually bring him back into the squad. Simple as that. So he would be, he'd be a squaddy. I think he deserves one last chance. I really do. It's hard to do this video about, I think, in the current situation. Gio, it's hard to do any video at the moment on football without trying to sort of extrapolate what's going to happen. Without going into any detail at all, I do expect there to be some form of impact. I do expect the money to be affected. I do expect transfers to be affected. So I think that the upshot will be travel will be less and so on and so forth. So I think we're going to see more homegrown players. And for that reason, I keep him. We know that Mark Noble's legs are, clearly he's not getting any quicker and he's not going to play any more games. I think Cullen be the natural guy to put in there to ease him into that. I think if he played on the bench, he would get some hours. I am far from convinced that West Ham are going to have anyone's going to have any money. Never mind West Ham. Certainly not 18 million to make Souček's transfer possible. So it may well be that we need a central midfielder in there. I keep him as a squaddy, my friend.
Yeah, I was going to say squaddy before you start speaking about money. That's a very good point, and something you do have to take into consideration, especially when you get onto the latter stages of this video when we're talking about attacking players who generally cost more than defensive players as well. So that's a good point. I was going to have him squaddy anyway because just last year of his contract, what we would get for him, £1 million. and that's before all this. So I don't see the point in selling him for tuppence almost in the grand scheme of it. And when we're talking about the defender players, we're talking about a successful loan for him, a successful loan for him. He's had successful loan after successful loan. You've got to reward them. I think you have to set something for the players that you are sending out on loan. You have to say, look at Josh Cullen. He's gone out on loan, done it. He's been rewarded with a first team place because he is someone that will have to be registered in the 25-man squad now due to his age. And I think that's just where you turn around to Nathan Holland or anyone else you loan out and say, look, if you go out there and you do your business, you come back here and you're part of the first team. We reward you with the shirt. We reward you with your locker in the first team dressing room. That's your reward for the successful loan. Because I don't think we've necessarily had that at West Ham or any other Premier League club. A loan's almost like we'll worry about you next summer kind of thing to a lot of players. Some players, most players for development, but there is some players, someone's like, we'll just put them on loan for the sake of it. Is there any long-term plan for, say, Connor Coventry, we're ready to come on to a second? I'm not 100% convinced because his teammate, Joe Powell, we've seen go out on loan, have good loan spells, and get sold. So we need to do something. Josh Cullen, top tier for me, and Connor Coventry.
Well, Garnett said he shouldn't even be on loan. He's a very talented player. He can open up a defence with a pass, which is, clearly an attribute. My only worry for him is, and I am mindful that I've probably not seen him play for nigh on a year. So I'm also mindful that people of that age can grow and fill out an awful lot in a year. A year's a long time when you're that age, But when I saw him, he didn't look quite ready for men's football. I've spoken about Anang, I've spoken about Johnson. He didn't look ready for it. So with that in mind, it depends how well he's doing on loan. It depends on how much time he's getting. He would probably be a young VIP for me and see a bit more of him. Don't forget, if there is a next season, then the West Ham team, that's an interesting one, isn't it? It's all about the Premier League. Do we stay in the lower division? West Ham were clearly going to be promoted, weren't they? The under-23s. So maybe we spend another season in the lower division. I hadn't even thought of that. So that's going to be an interesting one. Maybe bring him back into the fold, though, and just, but see how he's gone. I'll go a young VIP for the moment.
I'm going to put anyone want to bother him because he's only just gone out on loan. I feel a bit sorry for players like Connor Coventry, not just West Ham players all around football. They're, especially Premier League clubs, when you've got a hustle and bustle about you. You get a loan move, you go out there enthusiastic. You have to remember when you buy a player, it's the same as when you loan someone out. They've got to settle in, they've got to get used to their teammates, their surroundings. It might be the first time they move away from their house. I know some kids move away at a really young age, go live in the halls for the academies and stuff. But there are some local lads as well who don't necessarily have to go through that, or their parents move with them and stuff. You don't know. And so this could be the first time they're away from their family home as well. So it's very difficult. He's only just gone out on loan, and this has happened. I would put him out on loan again and say, look, go out, get your year, League One football, do what you want to do, because people like him can shine at League One. I tend to find that if you're decent at League One, and when I say decent, I mean decent with the ball at your feet kind of thing, it becomes obvious pretty quickly that you are almost too good for that league. It's a bit like Marcus Brown. He's on loan at Oxford United, and he's tearing that league up. He struggled in the Championship. He's dropped down to League One. He's taking the piss a little bit because you just look at him and think, crikey, that boy's too good for this league. And if Connor Coventry needs to do a little bit of that, I think. So, anyone want to borrow him? Speaking of borrowing, Banovitz has been borrowed for quite a while. He's over in Sweden, but he's playing for a decent team over in Sweden at the minute.
I'd say
we need a don't know category, don't we?
I'd say let's just be friends on this one, because I've seen him play. I've seen him play twice. He's skillful enough. I think we have enough players of his ilk who are going to be better players than him. I'm pretty sure about that. We're going to talk about a couple of them. Are we possibly?
Yeah.
No, I'm glad he's away on loan, and I think he'll make it as a professional. I really do. I think he'll be a good pro. But if we think that he's the next Zlatan Ibrahimovic and we're going to sell him on, and then, I don't know, we're going to be watching him playing for Real Madrid in the Champions League final in 8 years' time, and he's going to be embarrassing us, and we'll say, why do we let him go? Then, then quite frankly, you can cut this little clip out of this video and show me and laugh at me. But I don't think that's going to be happening. So, yeah, we've grown apart, Gio,
Yeah, I'm going to put him in Let's Be Friends as well, because you can command a little fee for him. And I realise I'm going back on what I've said about Josh Cullen, but the thing is, Josh Cullen's got a bit of something there. We've seen something. Josh Cullen might make it. I mean, this guy might still as well. But to make the academy successful, I think you have to generate fees for the players you don't want. You've got to have an income from the academy. You've got to be selling players for... It doesn't have to be big money, just 250 grand here, $500,000 there. You can nudge these players out. The academy will self-fund. It'll allow you to go, like you said, take punts and Cardoso, knowing that you can then sell them on if it's not really worked out. And I think Banovitz is just one of those. He's come over. It's not really worked for him. He's gone on loan to a pretty poor standard, and he's looking really good there. But that's his league. He's a big fish in a small pond at the minute, and I'm not sure he's good enough to be a small fish in a big pond. So I would be wishing him well as well. Diangana, though, I mean, this guy's had the best season out of all the ones we're going to discuss tonight.
Do you know what? It's fun. I didn't even think he's so... I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? I didn't even think we were going to discuss him. What can I say about Diangana? I cannot wait to have Diangana back. I really can't. And it's a squad player as well. I'm looking forward to these players coming back. Sometimes, you've got to look for positives in situations. There ain't a lot at the moment, but I do see opportunity for lots of things as well. And if come the end of all this, we've got some more young players who've come through the West Ham's academy, or who we signed as from other clubs like Nathan Holland and so on and so forth, who spent a couple of years in our academy before they made our first team, then great. Because they're going to understand, they're going to get West Ham, and they're going to understand it a little bit more, rather than the mercenary player. Looks like he had a really successful loan. A couple of injuries for sure, but that is a loan that's worked out. I think it was the right time at the right club under the right manager with Bilic as well. Not only do I think he could be a squad player at West Ham, he may well find next season there's a first team place up for grabs. Either permanently or certainly intermittently when some players are out. I think if Moyes plays the system that we saw in the last 2 or 3 games, then there's a role there for Diangana. The initial system that Moyes started playing, I was looking at it thinking, I'm not sure there's a lot of... With the 3-5-2, that's what I'm talking about, whatever you want to call it, the 3 at the back. I was looking at that thinking, this is not great for wingers here, but he switched it as of late, and I look at it now and I think, oh, okay, well, this is probably playing to our strengths. And if things don't work out with Anderson, we got a guy there ready to step into the first team. I've no doubt about that. Really, really happy with that, Gio, actually.
Yeah, squaddy, no brainer. I was disappointed when we loaned him out. I didn't think we should have. I thought it was a mistake. I didn't think we had the depth to do it. And during the season, I flipped and switched between whether it was right or wrong. I watched him for West Brom. I thought, okay, it's the right thing to do, because here he is, scoring goals, getting assists, looking good. And not only was he doing stuff in Championship, he was doing tricks. He was doing step overs and taking players on. So and that's just confidence. That's just him now coming out of his shell a little bit. We never saw that at West Ham. I always thought he was fearless. I always thought he was willing to try and go past the guy. But I thought he faded towards the end of his first season under Pellegrini. Yeah. I thought he stopped doing that a little bit because his confidence got knocked.
Yeah.
But other times I watched him for West Brom thinking, then I'd watch West Ham, and we were lacking someone trying to knock the ball past the defender. This is why I didn't want Diangana out. But it has been a successful loan. Delighted to have him back. Do not want to see us sell him. One, you said you're trying to look for positives in this thing we're going through. One positive is West Brom may not come up, which means he will not be looking to go on a permanent move. And even if West Brom did come up, West Brom may not have the money they would have if they came up through automatic promotion with the season finishing. Their number one target would surely have been Diangana. And it would put a bit of pressure on us if a £10 million bid came in for him. Moyes would be getting $10 million for a player he's never had before. The board would be getting $10 million in to give to Dave Moyes to spend. I think we would have sold him for $10 million. We would have. I think we would have. I think we would have bit of that. So I'm glad he's going to be as part of the first team next season. I'm looking forward to it. Nathan Holland went out to Oxford United, got an injury towards the end, so his season was finished anyway. But by all means, a pretty reasonably successful loan.
Yeah, he was playing really well, wasn't he? All I can say about Nathan Holland, and then people that regularly watch our videos will know, we've been looking forward to Nathan coming through for a number of years, haven't we? So all I can say about Nathan Holland at Oxford is Nathan played like Nathan, which is direct. He's very direct. He's quick. He crosses the ball. He's in many respects, he's like an old style winger. He plays with his head up. So he sees the ball to cross early. Cut inside, he'll have a shot. He'll drift in. If he's playing on the left and the right winger is very, very wide, then Nathan will come in and he will almost be playing running a line along that where the far post is. So if the ball does get crossed over, he can often be there to almost tap the ball in if it's delivered by the other winger. Very, very good player, Gio. Good free kicks, good delivery, good pass, good pace. Excellent. Really happy with him. I think we send him out on loan again, but that's not to any detriment to him, by the way. Just want to see more of it on loan. And then he comes in and he's got one more year left in his contract after this season. So I'd like to have a look at him, get that sorted out. And I'm pretty sure there's a future at West Ham for Nathan Holland.
Loan for me as well, because the other option is either loan or squaddy. But if you put him in the squaddy, I don't think you can have him and Diangana at the same time, because they're almost competing with each other for like the fourth choice winger. And I think there's no point in that. I think you have just one and get the other one out for experience. So it would be Diangana for me because of age, because of he's already got a bit more experience. But with Holland, A, his loan got cut short, and two, if he's a squaddy, he's probably going to be playing under 23s most week, and it's too easy for him.
Yeah.
This season, he was scoring twice a game on average, and he's not even a striker. He was one of the top goal scorers in the league. And you saw the goals he was scoring. He was just running past two players and tapping it in. It was like watching a big kid playing with the little kids at school. You just thought, what's the point? It's just too easy for him. So he wasn't getting challenged at under 23s. I don't want to see him in under 23s at West Ham next season, assuming that we stay in the second division. There's no point. No development opportunities there for Nathan Holland whatsoever. So I'd get him out on loan again. But I'd be looking to step him up. Instead of Oxford, with the greatest of respect them, I'd be looking to get him into the Championship, Holland. I'd be looking to test him up against better players and seeing if he can cut it for the season after. Dan Kemp. This is another one where I'm going to use your corner commentary thing. He's a bit small for me. But I do think he's bloody fantastic. I think he's better than people give him credit for.
Yeah, he's a good player and the first at training and the last to leave. Apparently, Gio really wants to wants to work.
Good information. That's for that guy. You don't get that information anywhere else.
Wants which is obviously that was what they always used. A lot of those players, Gio, Alan Shearer, Frank Lampard. Although I know it's a bit of a swear word in West Ham terms, but these players David Beckham, these players just made the very most what they did, and you often hear that first to the training ground, last to leave. They get the balls out with the coaches and do an extra hour afterwards. And that's apparently him. He is talented, a low centre of gravity, which we like as well. So he's able to change direction quite well. Not as it's useful because he's not as quick as he would like to be. I don't mean that to say slow. But he's up against a lot of pacey players in the positions that he plays in. But he's a clever player as well and technically good. Should have a decent career in front of him. I don't know how much he's filled out, Gio. And as I say, again, I've not seen him for a little while. Depending on that is whether he goes on loan or to the under 23s, certainly. He's filled out quite a lot and he looks ready for first team football by all means, a loan. Apart from that, a young VIP.
Yeah, I'm going to put him in the load as well, just to test him a little bit. If he's small, but we've seen small players do it. But the problem is they've got to be able to bounce up whenever they get a kick. They've got to learn how to play against someone, and it's not a physical battle. If someone comes at you to shoulder bars, how are you going to get out of that? Because you ain't winning the shoulder bars. You need to beat a man with skill, with natural gifted dropping your shoulder and such like. But the limited time I have seen him, his passing is pinpoint as well as adventurous. It is pinpoint. I've seen him dinking the ball over defences to land at someone's. Usually it was Tony Martinez in the highlights when I watched them. It was usually Tony Martinez scoring bagfuls, and quite often Dan Kemp would do the work. You drift one past one, drift past two, dinky, and Martinez would just head it in. But everyone would be like, "Oh, Tony Martinez." Well, hang on a minute, it's the guy Dan Kemp's doing all the work here. So it's a loan for me. I'm a bit concerned that we do this next year or the year after. He's going to be in the Let's Just Be Friends. He's the one I've got least expectation for. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's just how I feel about him. I just look at him and I think he's just not quite going to make it. But he'll have a really good footballing career anyway. Now we're moving into the strikers. We'll take the most famous under-23 striker at West Ham, Silva. Big things. He had a really big health scare over last season, which just sort of wiped out his whole year in football. Is that going to impact him, or do you think we've got to keep him about?
Yeah, I think that is going to impact him. Also, think it's we seem to have this fascination at the time. We brought in a lot of Portuguese players. Obviously, we could talk about Jew in a minute as well, Cardoso, of course. I think it's a little bit of a shame for him, but we do have players in that position coming through who I think are probably more talented than him. So I would, if you can get a little bit of money for him, we did pay a little bit of money for him, by the way, I would say certainly let's just be friends. And I just can't really see anything else. I think it's almost pointless putting him in the under-23s. I don't think you're going to get him out on loan. And he's clearly not good enough to be in the squad. So it has to be that for me, I'm afraid, Gio.
I'm going to be overly sentimental here. I'm going to keep him in the 23s, but look to sell him in the January transfer window. If everything goes as rule of thumb next season, if hypothetically the season continues as normal next season, because I'd almost feel bad binning him off after what he's gone through with his health over the last year. I think he deserves a bit of a comeback period, if you like, but it would be with the expectation we're going to have to sell him eventually. I wouldn't want to kick him while he's down kind of thing. So I'm going to say VIP, but bordering on let's just be friends. I can completely understand why you've gone for that. I was tempted. His Portuguese teammate, do you?
Yeah, let's just be friends again. He's, I mean, we're not talking about a 15-year-old kid here. He's 21. No. He's nearly 22. He played 6 games for the youth team last season for the under-23s and scored 1 goal. You mentioned earlier, I think you summed it up perfectly when you were talking about Nathan Holland's. Crikey, who was the can't remember now. Who's the kid that was banging in the Scully? Scully was banging in the goals, wasn't he? That's one we forgot. Of course. Nathan was banging in the goals. That's the second tier of youth football. And I mean, what is he? He's like the geezer's 4 or 5 years older than Ngakia, you know? So no, it really has to. I cannot see any evidence there at all. So yeah, let's just be friends.
Let's just be friends for me for the same reasons you've given. The limited highlights I have seen of him, and it's even more limited because he didn't play that much. Nothing stood out to me. I didn't think, oh wow, there's a player we've got in our hands, which all these players have done at some point. Ben Johnson, you look at his crossing, oh wow, this guy, Dizu, like I said, he's not played much, but let's just be friends, because I think there's our other 2 younger strikers we'll get onto immediately. I think they're both better than him, so I don't want this guy in their way. I want these 2 to be playing under 23s next season. Diallo, he's the one that's coming of late. He's coming to the 23s towards the end of the season because Scully left, so an opportunity arose. He's gone in there and he started scoring goals.
Yeah, and a fantastic player, Gio, by all accounts. Very, very skillful, 2-footed, fast, assists, goals, got everything going for him, really. Coveted by a lot of other clubs as well. Yeah, highly regarded, highly thought of in the game. I don't want him out on loan just yet, I've got to be honest with you, because he's only done a little bit of youth football. So I would have him as a young VIP, but he is, as long as he can keep his head right and apply himself, which that may well be a bit of an issue, then he has got a big future in the game. A highly talented player, mate, certainly.
VIP for me. I think he's got time on his side, but also I want to see our under-23 next season. Our under-23s have to win that league. They have to get promoted again so that they can continue to attract good players at that age group. So we almost need to keep an eye on who the under-23s has available. You can't just ship out all their best players and they're playing with the players that they don't think is good enough, essentially. Because then you're playing like the reserves of the under-23s, aren't you? I do think we have to be successful at that age group, and success means playing in the top division, and we're not doing that yet. So I'd like him in there, and I'm confident he will be scoring every second week at that age group. That should be the aim for a striker at West Ham in that league. I know it sounds disrespectful to the other teams in the league, but we can only go by what we've seen this season for the West Ham under-23s, and we were winning pretty much every week. Martin's gone in there as the manager and sort of, well, been winning from the word go. So, yeah, VIP under-23s. Now, when I sent Gonzo this list, Gonzo said to me, make sure this guy is on the list, please. So, Gonzo, who's the guy? And why do you want him on the list? And where are you putting him?
Kai Corbett.
Yes.
And he's going into young VIP. Manchester United have been pursuing a couple of players really, really heavily. Jude Bellingham, who people may or may not have heard of, who's actually broken into the team at Birmingham City, and it looks a fantastic player, by the way. And our own Kai Corbett, who is rated just as highly, although he has not broken into the team. He's quick, he's strong, he's fast. Yeah, he's quick, he's fast, same thing. He can pass, he can shoot. He's a very, very talented player. I mean, really talented player. Lots of clubs are after him. He's agreed to stay with us. It's one of those players where you need him to get the chance, because he's going to succeed somewhere, and what you don't want it to is be somewhere else other than West Ham. And he's just got so much going for him. He's got. Did I say what I want him to be? What category?
No, VIP under-23s.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. Young VIP. He needs to go in there. Not loan just yet, but when players are this talented, you need to give them quite an easy, quick path to the first team. Okay, so you need to say to him, someone needs to say to him, look, you go in there, you go in that youth team for 6 months. If you do it well, we're going to draft you into the first team squad, or we're going to put you out on loan with a view to getting some action. And I mean, him and a kid I didn't know about, by the way, called Louis Watson, are with Diallo. These are the three kids that are meant to be the most highly regarded at West Ham in our academy at the moment, and Kai Corbett is meant to be the best of the bunch. So no pressure.
I don't know too much about him. I've not seen enough of him. I know his reputation, if you like, whether we've heard Cardoso was a bit crap on the grapevine, so they heard that Corbett is, well, he's the next best thing since sliced bread, isn't he, currently? But certainly Man United had their paws all over him not long ago, and the sort of unconfirmed rumours he went for a trial, and he's come out and denied it on social media and said that he's going nowhere and stuff, but it's a bit grey, that one. So I'd have him in the VIP, because a bit like Diallo, we need someone to score the goals and stuff. The strikers at West Ham's a situation where you've only got 2, maybe 3 in the first team, and that's it. Then your fourth choice becomes taking a punt on the youngster or wedging someone in there like Antonio. And I'd like us to get away from the wedging in thing eventually, and that, like you said, there is a path for a youngster to get a shot, because you look along the Premier League, how many youngsters have had an opportunity through an injury or a suspension, and they've just gone in and taken it, and then they've been too difficult to drop. It's like Ngakia. He went in originally because of injuries, played so well that we can't drop him anymore. And one of these strikers need an opportunity just like that. So yeah, I'm going to put him in VIP. That leaves one more player. Not a youngster. We did the last video, and everybody said, where is Jordan Hugill? People felt we disrespected Jordan Hugill, Gonzo. And they might be correct, because we didn't include him. But we're going to include him for this one.
Yeah. I don't know if people remember. We did a video, I can't remember what video it was. I bumped into him before one of the games. He was just going to a game. He was going to the game. The West Ham game. He had his hoodie up.
Leicester.
Was it?
Or Liverpool. I wasn't at either of those, so it was one of them.
It was a bit of a weird situation, because when we go to the boats, we know a lot of people down there. We see a lot of people. We recognise a lot of faces. There can be 300 people down the boat. It's not going to remember everybody's name, but sometimes you see a face you recognise. And he was walking down as if it was on the way to the boats, but the way to the boats is almost the way to the stadium. I looked at him, I recognised the face, and I went up, hello, mate. And he shook my hand and shook his hand. And it was only after I'd shaken his hand, I realised it wasn't someone from the boats. It was Jordan Hugill. Right. So a bizarre thing. So I was quite embarrassed, actually. But I said, what are you doing here? And he said, I'm going to watch the game. And he was alone at QPR. I said, oh, right. I said, you're not playing today? Obviously not playing for QPR. I went, no. I said, oh, right. He said, yeah, I always come down and try and watch the games. I'm not playing. I just thought, in terms of attitude, he didn't have to do it. There was no entourage. He could easily get a ticket for the players' car park. He'd clearly come in on the train or something like that. Or parked at Westfield. He was acting like a normal fan with his Parker coat on. And I remember after he signed for us, if you remember, because he signed from Preston, he was pictured at a Preston game in with the crowds. Do you remember? It was obviously Preston's his team. And I like that sort of stuff. And I just thought he's clearly bought into West Ham. And you look at some players with their attitude and all the rest of it. And you mean, actually, if everybody had a bit of that, and I want him to play. I want him for him, to walk out of the bubbles and all the rest of it. But let's be fair, I don't think he fits into any of the top categories. I can't see him being in a West Ham squad. That being said, would he have got on before a Jetty? There's times I would have had Jordan Hugill on before a Jetty. Let me get that straight. We're talking about next season. Is he a young VIP? Well, clearly not. He's almost as old as me. No, I'm joking. He's not. Loan? Well, he's already on loan, isn't he? And I just wonder if somebody came in with 4 or 5 million, QPR, for instance, not I think any championship club's going to be buying anyone for 4 or 5 million at the end of all this. We'd probably take it if someone offered us 4 or 5 million for Jordan Hugill. So let's just be friends. But the bestest of friends, Jordan, the very best of friends, because he is a lovely, lovely bloke.
But proper attitude. I like that. I like that attitude, and I wish he'd succeed. But he was just never gonna. The situation we brought him in set him up to fail. The manager at the time set him up to fail. The situation that's happened after has set him up to fail. Earlier I said about how sometimes clubs do a loan just to get rid of the player. We've done that with Hugill, which it's not for his development. It's just so we can shift him somewhere for a year and we'll worry about him in a bit. But he's had a good season at QPR. He's very much showing I can be a top championship striker. I can score goals for you. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a better club than QPR next year. I wouldn't be surprised if someone chasing the top 6. Aspirations are coming up. Think, you know what? That's who we're going to go get. We're going to go get Jordan Hugill to be our main man. The guy's going to bag the goals. Because even when he's at QPR, you hear him speak. He always says about how he hopes he's got a future at West Ham, but immediately he wants to get QPR promoted and whatever. And I like that. His attitude's spot on. But I'm going to put him in Let's Just Be Friends. We can get a few million for them. We will get a few million for them. Bad bit of business originally, but it is what it is. Let's see what we can get for him and wish him well. And I do genuinely wish him well. Yeah. Every time I see him, wherever he is, even when he's at QPR this season, he scores, you get a bit of a smile. You think, nice one, Jordan. Well done. And I'll do it again when he leaves. I wish no harm on him whatsoever. And I genuinely hope we see him in the Premier League the year after because he's got someone promoted through his goals and he comes out. And I bet you the first thing he does when he comes out of London Stadium in the opposition shirt, you probably applaud the crowd. Even though he's only played for us for a few times, you'll probably have that respect. I mean, this club couldn't even give the guy a proper announcement video, could we? He had to film it on the phone himself. I mean, that was his welcome to West Ham by the club.
He could have sent it to us.
You should have got him to do one. Hi, Hammers chat. I can't wait to appear on Truck a Good Game.
I'll send it back. I said, Jordan, could you just turn your phone around into landscape mode, please, mate?
Brilliant. Right, we'll wrap it up there. We'll leave it there.
Yeah, mate. I enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed that video.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I mean, if you're listening to this bit, you probably have because you've got to the end. Well done. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. If there's any other West Ham related tier lists you want to see us do, put the suggestions below. I like a tier list video. I love a good tier list video. We've got West Ham managers to do, West Ham captains, West Ham number 8 or something. Hey, we've got to scrape the barrel in these times.
West Ham number 41s.
Is there anyone except Declan Rice? Can you hear me? Anyone?
I think not, which is why I said it.
Yeah. Be a nice quick video, isn't it? But anyway, thank you for joining us. Check out the latest If I Was Moyes with Chris Akabusi. Check out our FIFA games. Loads of content. Stay safe. Look after yourself. And we'll see you very, very soon.